Now, I wonder whose trap this is. Welcome back to NördForge, everybody. So this week I'm building a treehouse. This is a Huntsman Lodge, kind of the gunslinger class, but black rifle style. I started out with a cardboard base, just a paper towel roll, using tinfoil as a structural guide for the bark. I'll be using hot glue for this. I've always wanted to try it. I've never made a big tree like this, and it came out actually better than I expected. I'll be doing it again for sure. And just kind of going on, as you can see, it's already kind of taking shape. It really came out better than I thought it would. Now that that's dry, I had to start working on the large tree limbs that will be sticking out, supporting the treehouse itself. And while I do that, just a little bit of lore as I go along here. My little huntsman is actually a bounty hunter. For years, he stalked the wilds, hunting creatures most men would call nightmares. But his legend doesn't end with beasts. No, he hunts men as well. Save this guy, he hunts bounties, debts, secrets they'd rather keep buried. Blackmail. His name alone is enough to drive outlaws from their dens and send warlocks scurrying into the shadows. And now, he's closer than anyone realizes. Pinned to the old treehouse lodge is a little Easter egg you'll see towards the end of the video. And as it flutters in the wind, reminding him of his prey, a little gnome warlock whose crimes are whispered in taverns but never spoken aloud. Vex, his friend, knows his time is short. If she doesn't find her friend first, the huntsman will. And when the Autumn Huntsman sets his sights on you, there is no running. There is only the hunt. So she must get him before he sees her. A game of deadly tag, if you will. Usually I wanted to give this guy a pretty good intro. I spray painted the tree when I was done with just regular spray paint, brown spray paint. Works great. Gave it 2 coats. And I'm using torn up cotton balls that I kind of spray painted extremely lightly with a light orange, because it was that neon orange, which would have looked a little weird. So I just went along and scattered that across just to give this thing a little bit of catch, if you will, just to help catch some of this flocking that I'll be using. I'll be using orange and red. I unfortunately did not have any yellow, but I made it work. And I sprinkled that as best I could. And by the way, I learned a very good lesson here. Never use that Elmer's glue spray paint type rattle can glue adhesive. But me being the dummy I am, use it inside. Never do that. I was wearing a respirator, but still, it was a horrible mess to clean up. The flocking that's nothing. You vacuum it up and I put it back into the cans as best I can. It's the residue that's left behind. So I decided to add a little moss to the tree after that was all done. And obviously you can see some of the base has some colors, orange and red, flocking stuck to it. And I kind of like the look. Instead of picking it off, I left it. Now I'm working on the treehouse itself. Just doing what I've done in many videos, is making the wooden planks. Going on with the line. And kind of breaking it up a little bit. And using my wire brush, just kind of go along, give it some really good texture. And I do a little nail hole thing, of course. And I just painted it dark brown. I initially was going to use XPS foam for this entire thing, but I wanted to try popsicle sticks. I thought it would look cool. I thought it would give it a more authentic look, seeing how popsicle sticks already would. And the front here, I'm putting some beams that I've already textured. Obviously, this will be the doorway. If you guys have a better way of making the triangle roof look for the front and back, I'd love to know in the comments, because I really kind of screwed that up. The popsicle sticks you see here are just kind of there to help with holding it in place. And to fill in the cracks, I used some spackle. You really won't see it later on, as you'll see. And for these windows here, I just used some leftover plexiglass. And I purposely used Gorilla Glue because it will leave a residue behind. And that residue kind of looks like frost on a window. Wooden planks for the windows. And when that was all finished, I gave that a dark brown as well. And for the entire treehouse itself, I went with red, just a regular crimson fire engine red. Kind of bold choice of colors, but as you'll see in a moment here, I didn't just leave it that way because it would have looked a little silly. So what I decided was to break it up into not just one shade of dry brushing, but two before I gave it a dark wash. I started off with the dark brown, which was just to kind of break it up, give it that beat look, like it was been out in the elements. But before I forgot, I dry brushed the rest of the wood with some burnt sienna brown, just to kind of bring out some of that wood color. And that was all done and dry. I went back with a creamy white, literally what it's called, and gave that an extremely light brush over the already dry brushed brown. And already it was looking good. And when that was done, I gave it a nice dark wash. And filled in the nooks and crannies with a little bit darker brown wash. And now I'm making the door. Instead of gluing them all together, I use these kind of cross beams. Probably noticing I'm using a lot of super glue in this project. And the reason because a lot of the residue it leaves behind either gets covered up with a wash, paint, or is behind something that you simply can't see. And it kind of speeds this project up a little bit. I wanted to give this guy a really rich lore, so I'll be doing this in the future, creating these characters. And this gunslinger with a black powder rifle, sure, he hunts beasts, owl bears, displacer beasts, even the occasional troll if the pay's right. I want this guy to be synonymous. Bounty hunters come and go. For this one, he's patient. He's methodical. He doesn't roll with a party. He rolls with a loaded musket and a knack for setting traps you'll never see coming, like the one you saw in the beginning of the video. And right now, you see, there's a new name on his list. You'll see this in the end of the video. I kind of left it as a little Easter egg. Gimble the Warlock, Vex's little buddy, my little rogue. You've seen in previous videos if you've been following me. See, her friend is a gnome with a talent for getting into trouble. Word is, Vex is trying to track Gimble down first. Folks say he started out as the son of a trapper who spent more time skinning squirrels than rolling dice. By the time most kids were learning their letters, he was learning the difference between a rabbit snare and a bear's trap. Spoiler, he uses both. When black powder rifles made their way into the frontier, he took to them like a bard to ale. They say his first shot dropped a stag clean at 200 feet. His second shot, well, let's just say the cleric had to do some explaining about friendly fire. Turns out he doesn't do teamwork, he does contracts. And while most folks will tell you he's a monster hunter, the truth is simpler. He hunts anything with a price on its head. Which is not much different from my rogue character, Vex. Difference is, Vex kinda has more of a conscience. Yes, his lodge is in the trees. That's where the trophies go. Not monster skulls or dragon hides. No, wanted posters nailed right into the beams like grim little decorations. Of course, what lodge wouldn't be complete without some kind of trophy in the front of it? So a moose skull I thought would look good. As for the shingles, I went old school. Well, maybe not old school, but the hard way. I just think this way looks better. This looks more authentic. It gives it that this thing was actually built in the trees look. And for colors, I went with a orange. I know it's kind of a bold color again, but I didn't want to go with a blue or green. I just thought it would look weird. So my plan was to paint it orange and give it a really light brush of cream white and a really dark wash. Fill in the crevices and kind of tone things down. Now it's time to place the actual lodge inside of the tree. And make him a little ladder, which is just out of 3mm wooden dowels. And that's for the little hatch. Then I gave this whole thing another dark wash. And this is the bear/human trap. This is kind of left real close to the ladder for a reason. This guy doesn't like visitors. And I used a piece of a keychain that I had lying around. And we're gonna try to make it look like this guy's hiding this trap just a little bit. Not too much where you can't see it. And a little bit of blood. The white you see is actually just watered down PVA, which when it dries, you won't even see. For some finishing touches, I put some moss on top of the roof. And lastly, the huntsman themselves. And if you spot the Easter egg, which I'm sure you already have, let me know in the comments below. This build was awesome. It was a pain, but it was great, and it came out, in my opinion, really good. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next week.